I don't have much practice at this.
Just speak from the heart.
Okay. Sir, my name is Mike Tribulo. I work in advertising. I'm with a big firm at the moment, but I plan to go out on my own in the next few years. I like classical music, fly fishing, sailing on a breezy day.
Talk to him about what matters.
Jesus.
He's getting restless.
Okay, I'll try. Sir, I love your daughter very much and I want to marry her. I promise to take very good care of her and you'll never have to worry about her happiness or safety.
You're doing well.
Michael Tribulo, have you never been married before?
Don't be afraid. The dead just seem silent. But if you observe certain rules and open the channels, they always answer back.
No, sir.
You're lying, Tribulo.
It wasn't really a marriage, sir.
What? When were you married?
It was nothing. It was a disaster. I'd forgotten all about that, sir.
How long were you married?
No time. Months, weeks. Oh, it seemed like hours.
Why did she want a divorce after 2.5 years, Tribulo?
I really don't want to get into this right now, if you don't mind. It was in the past, sir. I have every intention of discussing it with Laura when the time is right.
Now!
She was disgusted. So was I. So am I. I swear it.
You didn't act on your desires in the street, behind a telephone pole, in the schoolyard when little kids were getting out of school.
No! On my honor! It wasn't like that. I never did it outside the home. It was harmless.
Did what?
Come on, Laura. Let's get out of here.
Nylons and garter belts. That's how it started.
How did you know about that?
When we die, we dematerialize. What do you think guilt and shame really are? They are the unconscious knowledge and recognition that the dead see and know all that you do. Everything. There's nothing you can hide.
Well, after the stockings and the underwear, I bought a woman's hat at an auction. It was made of black silk, cream-colored lace. I paid a fortune for it. I waited to get home every day just to put it on.
And the dress? The wig?
I had them made. They were beautiful. It didn't hurt anyone. Please understand me. It wasn't a sexual thing. Women are so vulnerable. Everyone wants to take care of them. I wanted to experience that. I never do it anymore. It's over. I disgust myself.
Do you still do it all the time?
I promise it's over. I mean, it's sporadic. And it only ever happens in the private reaches of my innermost mind. Sometimes, just to get started, I picture, I imagine that they're the man and I'm the woman. But Laura's different. I want to marry her. I want to spend the rest of my life with her.
Do you, Mike?
Yes. Laura, sometimes I feel this pressure crushing down on my chest. It's more than I can bear, but if you initiate or I pretend that you initiate it, it takes the pressure off.
But I hate to initiate. I do it all day at work. When I come home, hard day at the office, I need to be passive.
Fine. You don't have to do anything. I sort it out in my own head. It's between me and me. It's over. It's harmless.
5 visits to a fertility specialist.
That was years ago. She wanted to have children.
Low sperm motility.
But it was yes! Sir, it was an erroneous medical diagnosis. You know how often doctors make mistakes. They only look at the results, not the causes. There's nothing wrong with my sperm. They could swim upstream like salmon if the demands were gone. With the right woman. With Laura.
We've never spoken about children.
Do you want them?
On the one hand, children give you immortality. Oh. No, but on the other hand, children crush you further and further into a corner where they suck the life out of you. You can't breathe anymore.
A hole in your resume, Mike. The blank space between 2006 and 2007.
You know what, sir? I lay in bed. I read Kierkegaard, Joseph Campbell, Lao Tzu, Melville, Archie and Veronica comics. I decorated t-shirts and I drew arcane designs and sent them to friends. I felt myself dissolve to jello, mint green, aqueous, vaguely transparent. I oozed over the bed and onto the floor. And just as I was about to turn to liquid, a voice said to me, "Not yet, Mike." And I turned my life around. You're looking at a changed man, sir.
Oh, you suffered such great pain, Mike. Great, great pain. Oh.
But sir, Laura, if I hadn't have gone through it, I would never have known what joy is.
Oh.
If I hadn't have been jello, I could never have loved Laura. I would have gone on the way I was.
The cord in the grave, Mike.
You saw that too?
We don't sleep. Even when you sleep, we are hypervigilant. Every earthly action is observed on another plane.
I was strangled by my past. I read every self-help book. I was in therapy. I kept the journal. I went to seminars. But nothing could break the hold. One morning, I went to a park. It was 4 a.m. I brought with me a huge length of mariner's rope. I tied one end around a tree and the other end around my waist, and I ran back and forth until I was aching and raw from the rope cutting into me. And when I couldn't stand it anymore, I pulled out a pocket knife and I cut the cord that bound me to my mother.
Symbolically?
No, literally. Then I got down on my hands and knees and I dug in the dirt till my hands were raw and bleeding. I sang a prayer for the dead that I learnt in church as a child, and then I said a sad and bitter farewell and buried my father.
But your father's still alive, so it was symbolic.
No, I really buried him. I watched him die.
So you see my dilemma, Daddy? He wants me to move in and get married.
My verdict is, he's a gutter ball.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Marry.
What?
The path you'll walk together will be full of stones and brambles, but it will be interesting. He is a man who doesn't run from the living or the dead. He is precisely what you need, Laura. He is much, much more than he seems.
Daddy? Daddy! The channel's not open anymore. You're the first man I've ever brought here who he's approved of.
Well, that wasn't easy.
I mean, well, selling my furniture won't be a piece of cake.
I guess we'll just go ahead and deal with it.
Come here. You're a yes man. You say yes, yes, yes to whatever life throws in your path. All I've ever known is no men. That's why my father approves of you. And that's why I love you. Yes, I'll move in with you.
Do you think the dead will always be watching us?
Of course they will. They always are.
Well, welcome, guys. Yes! 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 A wonderful one. And a direct line to the dead. I could get into this.
Mwah.
I don't have to meet your mother, do I?
Well, it's not fair that you just meet one, not the other. She's very different from Daddy. She's passive and moody and not very talkative. She rarely expresses herself, but she seems inside. Come along.
Now, somehow I think you win. Because
Down.
You're sexy.
Yes, yes, yes.
Head and onto the floor.
In the schoolyard.
Over the rainbow, way